Good morning, Flosstube. My name is Laura, and I'd like to welcome you to Stitching by the Shore, my channel all about cross stitch. Every once in a while, we talk about something else crafty, but I haven't gotten to the point where I can unpack and use all of my other crafty stuff, so today it is all cross stitch. I am laughing because this is the third time I have started to film this. The first time, it's like there's some reason why I shouldn't be filming. The first time, they were cleaning. I don't know what they're doing, actually. I'm saying they're cleaning, but I'm not sure. We have concrete swales in our development, right by the sidewalks. So the truck was right outside our house doing the swale. Super, super loud. You could hear it in the video. Okay, 20 minutes in, I delete that. He's gone. Great, I'll start again. I start filming. I'm not quite 10 minutes in. Giant helicopter buzzing the houses, and I don't know, he was flying back and forth. I don't know what he was doing, but really low. So there went that video. So we're hoping that outside noise technology makers are done with my neighborhood and we can talk some stitching. If you were new, welcome to all this craziness. Thank you so much for pressing play. I hope you like what you see and hit like and subscribe. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming by. Luckily, it's not this crazy every week because I don't know if any of you would come back, but I am so appreciative that you do. And you talk stitchy stuff with me and life stuff and other stuff. And I'm hearing the helicopter again. Let's hope he stays that way. I'm on the second floor and I'm not lying when I'm telling you he was buzzing right. We have some like woods right there. And he was right at the top of the treetops, and they're not much taller than the houses. So I feel like he was buzzing the houses, and it really looked really big and it was loud. So we'll see what happens. Thank you so much for everybody's well wishes, thoughts, prayers, words of encouragement last week after my Flosstube mini. I was all the energy I had to do. It meant so much to me. I don't even have proper words to let you know how much your support meant and helped. I mean, obviously I have Mo and family and all that for support, but it really, I can't even tell you, it helped me so much. Many of you have dealt with, pet issues or clothes, and obviously a lot of you with your house issues. And so you could relate in some form or whatever. And it just really helped me feel better and lifted my spirits. So thank you so much. Your words, they meant a lot to me. Thank you. We have 2 weeks worth of stitching, so I have 10 projects. But before I talk about that, I did want to point out that we are back in Delaware. Yay! And I am in the process of designing the craft area. So this area up here is, we have most of our house is pretty much on the first floor. 95% of it. And then we had a small area, kind of an extra bonusy area built up here. And one side of it, it's not closed, it doesn't have a door, but you've got the staircase coming up. So it's walled maybe 2/3. We had no idea what we would do with it. So I said, well, you know what? I'm not giving up crafting. I gave away about 3/4 of my crafting materials, but I kept about 1/4. All my stitching and then the paper crafting kept about 1/4. So maybe I could use the area up here. So this way my stuff's kind of out of sight and it doesn't have to be spread all over downstairs. So I am in the process of figuring out how I want to design this area. I like to draw things out. I am not a do things on the computer kind of girl. I am definitely hands-on, paper, pencil, paper, give me the ruler, do the whole bit kind of thing. So I am planning it out. I'm hoping to make a trip to IKEA. I am keeping this set of cubes. It's the Calyx cubes from IKEA. That set of cubes is a very old set from Michael's. The size they sell now is different. I think it's bigger. I'm too cheap to buy another whole set, so I will probably keep all of these and just reorganize them. I plan on changing the organization in the cubes, and then I plan on reorganizing the other whole area. When it's done, I would love to share it with you. Even we can talk about best ways to store stuff if you've got great ideas. Does anybody would you be interested in seeing a before? Because it's a disaster right now. Right now I have things in bags. You know, the cubes are not set how I want them. I have general ideas, but I just don't have things. Before I really dig into fixing it, would you want me to film a before so that we can really see a transformation? Let me know. I will most definitely film an after when it's all set. And there are a few different things that I think I'd like to really organize in a certain way, and they might even get their own little videos as well. We'll see. I don't know. There's an idea for Floss, but I don't know if it's going to work. So I don't want to say anything until I try it. Things like that. So let me know what you'd be interested in seeing when it comes to organization, because I'll show you my mess. It's a mess. I just moved, so it's a mess. I'm not going to lie. I have no problem with that. But let's talk stitching. Now let's get to the stitching. 5 minutes in, 6 minutes in. Like I said, I have 10 pieces. Some I worked on more than once in the last 2 weeks. I have a restart of a piece, an old piece. Yes, I restarted. I know some of you are going to be like, Laura, why? But I did. And I'll explain. I have a finish. I'll give you one guess. I'm pretty sure you could guess correctly if you are a regular watcher every week which piece I finished. And I have a brand new start, which will be the last thing I show you because that was the last thing I kind of picked up before filming. Okay, so remember, I am now mixing everything in. So you get to see current projects, starts, finishes, everything all in together generally. It just worked out that the start is the last thing this week because that was the last thing I did. But I am now just mixing it all in because it's all just the way it seems easier for me. Let me show you a picture of the first piece. The first piece is an ongoing project that I've been working on. It is a recent piece. It was a freebie put out by Modern Folk Embroidery. And it was put out in reaction to the world events going on, obviously in support for peace in Ukraine. So that's what the piece looks like. He had suggested using 444 and 322 as the 2 DMC colors, which I am using. And I love them, and I love the combo. And for any other Ukraine pieces that say pick your own, I am using those same colors just for cohesiveness purposes. Now, I did want to point out Debbie, who is Owl and Gator Stitcher here on YouTube. She has a fantastic Flosstube. If you have not watched her, she stitches everything. New, old, samplers, smaller, full coverage, everything. But she is a real master at full coverage. She does several between the 2 weeks when she films, and I love seeing her pieces. If you are not watching her, I'm going to link her down below because she is really, really interesting to listen to and to watch. And if you like doing different various games, and you know, whether it's, I don't know, what's the bingo one, and then there's others and full coverage ones, and there's all sorts of you know me, I'm a stitch what I want kind of girl, so I generally I jumped on the Olympics one, but I generally don't. But if you do really like that kind of stuff, she's also a good one to watch for that because she does quite a few, so you could learn about some new ones if you didn't know about them. But anyway, Debbie had reached out and she had told me, because you know the way things are spelled and said are different in different languages, so that MYR is actually pronounced, and if I'm getting it right, mir. I'm probably not doing it properly, but it sounds similar to the word mirror here in English. So that's what the reference point was for her to give me. So you're gonna see the reflection of my window. I have windows right behind you. That is the piece. And that's, as best I can tell, how it's pronounced. And you know, I'm gonna fold it even more because it's a small little piece. Well, on 18 count especially, it's a small, cute little piece. There we go. I am standing right now with a TV tray table because I have no table yet here. I need the legs. They were out of stock. Once they're in, then Mo can put the whole thing together for me. And then I can kind of stand. I'm making the table counter height, so I'll be able to stand at the table a little bit better. But anyway, I digress. This is 18 count, what is it? Wisteria Gray from To Die For Fabrics. And I love these two colors together. And I really like this gray. It's a It's a bluish gray, so it's along those lines. And I don't remember, I know I've stitched on it before because it is cut. It looks like white would show up because, you know, gray can always be whether or not if you're looking for whites to show up well. But these colors pop really nicely, and I'm really enjoying using it to dye for fabrics, Kimberly. And I'm just plugging along. I really like adding all the yellow. I've got a whole bunch of, you know, yellow bits here, and then the border, and then I'm done. I've been doing the border back and forth depending, and working the pieces off of it. I am not are you a border complete person first? Do you work it off other pieces? Do you do it last? I don't know. I think that's one of those things that is very individual, how people like to do it. I kind of wing it, to be honest. I'm not sure I have any hard or fast rules. But that's that one right there. Really enjoying it. I probably will finish this one and then go back to Flowers in a Window, which was by Stone Street Stitch. And then there are others that I have picked up if I would like to continue stitching on them. And there is a hashtag Stitch for Ukraine, if anybody is interested in seeing all the different pieces that people are doing. Okay, next. I have a majority of my pieces are actually digital. Okay, let's see, where is, oh, that's so funny. Let's see here if I can do Jan Hicks Creates for some reason. Oh, there it is. Etsy kind of went funny for me for a minute. This piece here is by Jan Hicks Creates, and it's called The Earth Laughs. Now, she charted it in Cosmo Floss, and I said, let's give it a try. So I actually did try the Cosmo. I like it. Enough to ditch my DMC? No. But it was nice. And it's cheaper. I think I got it $1, maybe $1.10 each skein. So it's cheaper than your variegated flosses, your hand-dyed flosses. And this is what I've got. So that's the full piece. And then let me fold it up a little bit so I can bring you the closer. You know, I'm going to fold it this way too, because we haven't completely gone all the way over. That's what I have so far. Now, this was my big thing that I wanted to get done. Finish that big flower. I worked the border over so I could start there, and then I'm bringing the border down. You'll notice again, the border I started stitching things off of it, and then I'm going back and forth between border and things on the inside. Now, this is a 20 count fabric. It's an Aida, 20 count Aida, and it's from To Dye For Fabrics. Kimberly did reach out to me though, and she did say that she was having some trouble with the quality control when she was dyeing the 20 count. And so because of that, because she sends out a very superior product, I love her fabrics. Because of the issues that she was having, she didn't want to do the 20 count and not send you the best that she could. So she does not carry 20 count anymore. If that changes and she lets me know, I'll let you know. Beautiful blue, ice blue. You know I love her blues. I'm gonna talk about something that I ordered from her for later on for my plans, and I just love her blues. She has a ton of different blues, and you know I love blue. So that's what it looks like. Now this is, because it's 20 count, I did also, not only did I try Cosmo Floss, I tried one strand. So it's one strand, 1 over 1, over one block. That's been a learning curve, I'm not gonna lie. Now, my 18 count, I do happen to use 2 strands. I really like the coverage of 2. A lot of people like to do 1 strand on 18 count. Neither way is right or wrong. It just has, you know, 2 different looks. One's fuller, one's a little bit less full. And it really depends on your own personal aesthetic. What appeals to you? For me, I like the 2. So this was the first time for me doing the 1. And it's been a learning curve because the 1 thread, for whatever reason, breaks a lot easier. First I thought, okay, is it the Cosmo Floss? But some people reached out and said, no different in that sense. It's the 1 strand. So I've been trying to teach myself some tricks and figuring out what works better so that I'm not splitting the thread as I'm going along. I'm getting there, and I think I've got it a little bit better. What I want to do, I got to tell you though, while I enjoy stitching this, I'm not a big fan of the one doing all the stuff I got to do for one strand. So I don't ever see myself, unless for some reason I absolutely had to, it was a really tight 18 count. I don't see switching over to one strand for 18 count anytime soon. But, you know, I'm learning, you know, and trying out and doing new things. And for this one, the coverage looks nice on the one. I will say that. I think 2 might be a bit too bulky. So that's what it looks like. I picked 20 count for 2 reasons. 1, I wanted to try it because people had talked about it. And 2, it was a little bit too big for what I was thinking about it for on the 18 count. So I went with the 20 and it would fit with the 20. So that's why I did that. And we'll see. Would I do everything on 20? No, but I think if I wanted something a little bit smaller, I would definitely think about the 20 on that one. I don't mind it. Okay, next. This is such a pretty one. It's Love Boat Sampler from Ardith Design. Look at the colors. They're so pretty. And I kept with, hers is a little pinkier than mine, but I did keep with the whole pink idea. And that's what it looks like. Now, what is this? This is an 18 count. It's called Lighthearted, and it's from Dying for Cross Stitch, which would be Kathy. Kathy's Aidas are slightly looser and softer. So she's a little bit closer to, picture this plus, than the other direction of the stiff Aida. So if you like that, I think you'd like Kathy's fabrics. So that's what it looks like. Now, a couple different things to talk about here. You know, last time I talked about this, when I stitched this little guy, the color of the floss for the sails, it was blending in. And if I look for it, I can see it. And maybe that's the look. I've shown this more than once already this morning, and I'm kind of talking myself in and out of things. But that color is in a lot of the flowers up here. And I was really worried that you wouldn't be able to see it. So I put in, I think it's B5200 here instead. It looks fine from a distance, but I'm wondering, I think what I might do, and I started doing the B5200 here, but what I might do is actually do that color here and see which flower I like better. I hope it's not the lighter one, because then I'd have to pull all that out. But as I'm looking at it and thinking about it, I'm wondering, I'm kind of talking myself in and out of things here. You know, when you overthink things. The one thing I did want to mention though, this floral element right here, if you are stitching this, please check it, because it is charted differently than what it looks like in the picture. It's charted unevenly. And I was like, okay, maybe that's what she meant, because everything is not symmetric in the border. But when I went to look at the picture was completely symmetrical, and it made more sense, to be honest with you. So I think it was just a mistake. I'm not sure if Ardith Designs has a corrections page on her website. I'm gonna need to look for that. Or I bought this ages ago, so maybe it's been fixed by now if you were to buy it now. I did buy the, not the digital, I bought the actual hard copy, clearly, because I'm showing you that. But I believe it's also available as a digital. At one point, I think she was doing it as a set, and you could actually get the color and cotton threads with it as well. I'm doing it in the DMC alternatives. So now I need to rethink this a little bit. I need to sit and look at it, see if that white that I chose is what I want, or I might try that other one and see if I would prefer it to be a little bit less bright. We'll see. We will see. I'll let you know. But it's such a pretty piece. I love the green on that pink. I think it really looks so pretty. Okay, moving on. All right, next. This piece was originally started back in February for Carla, from Carla Being Crafty's February stitch along, called #BE, Be My Own Valentine Sal, S-A-L. And I link everything down below. So if you look in the description box, I will link my pieces, the fabrics I used, any changes in flosses, hashtags. I will link, for example, I'll link the freebie from Modern Folk Embroidery. I will link Jen Hicks' Etsy shop. I will, there will be a section where I link Flosstubers I've talked about. Carla's Flosstube I will link. So everything down there. And if I forget to do something, because I think one week I forgot to add something from Lady Halloween, one of my flosses, just reach out and I'll tell you. But it's blue flower. Basically, the stitch along was to find something with a bee. And this is the Tudor bee. I was just watching Gail Phillips, and she is stitching, is there one called Quilt Bee? I think there is. She's stitching that one, and the fabric she chose looks so good with the colors of the piece. And I want to, yes, it's her most recent Flosstube. Really, really, really pretty. I suggest checking it out. And I'll link Gail below. Anyway, here we go. This is done on an 18 count Blue Moon from To Die For Fabrics. I have to say, it is one of my favorite blues. I know. I could probably say that, excuse me, about almost all of the blues, but it is one of Kimberly's blues that is, it's one of my favorites from To Die For. I think the colors look so pretty on it. So I'm jumping back and forth. I'm jumping into border. I'm jumping here. I did a lot of the green and then going back and doing the flowers. I started the bee just for the heck of it. I'm enjoying it. It's the first blue flower piece I've ever done, and I am liking it, I have to say. So that's what it looks like. Anybody else stitching these? Are you enjoying them? Okay, moving on. This one I stitched, oh, I need to find the iPad. I had stitched back when I was in Connecticut. And I chose it because I said, I want to be in Delaware. So I figured I'd stitch my Delaware piece. This is from VladaXStitch on Etsy. And they do have every single state. I am not stitching the word. I'm only stitching the piece. Now, the fabric I'm using, I messed up the ironing. So it's really, really wrinkly by the stitching. And that was my impatience. I need to go back and fix that. So it's gonna look really wrinkly, even though I had ironed it. But that's what I have. This fabric is 18 count beach glass from Vintage Needle Arts. Now the reason I say that, Vintage Needle Arts, I'm not sure how she dyes. She dyes differently than pretty much any hand dyer that I use. And the back of her fabric, it's very distinct. You know that it's the back. And I can't put the iron directly on it. And I did, because I was impatient. I need to, I have a handkerchief, an old handkerchief of Moe's that I put down and then I stitch over it because the iron basically sticks to whatever this is. So I have to go back and fix that. That's what impatience gets you. But I'm working along. I really wanted to get to this guy. I'm not exactly sure what he's called. I don't know if he'd be, I don't know the difference between like an egret and versus an osprey, or I don't really know. That way in our neighborhood, there's like a small little kind of pond sort of thing that was built because there's different creeks and rivers that run through this area of Delaware. And I want to say there's one of these guys over there because I've seen somebody put pictures on our group kind of message board type of thing. So I thought that was kind of cool. Now I did change it because he's charted to be in black and I decided I wanted not quite black. Given the colors here, I went with, it's probably like a, oh, it's right here. It is 939. So it's a very deep navy. And if you were to look quick, you might say black, but if you look at it in person, you can tell it's definitely more of a navy. So that's the only change I've done. Excuse me. The colors are fantastic. I really love how these are charted. So I really haven't changed anything else. That was just pure, I just wanted it a little bit more, especially because you've got the blues here water-wise. So I thought the navy would look a little bit better. So that's what I have so far. I'm on this part of the state, so I haven't gotten there yet. When I get there, I'll show you kind of where I am. But let me tell you, it's a long state to travel when you have to travel down it. I remember the first time we came, because we were looking down here, and we got into Delaware, we're like, oh yeah, we're in Delaware. And then we have to travel all the way down. It's like an hour, over an hour and 15 minutes, which is not, you know, it's a small state. I mean, hello, I know. Lots of other states, a lot. I mean, I come from a small state. Connecticut's obviously small. But when you've driven from there to here, and then you have another set to go, you're kind of like, oh, darn. But anyway, that's Delaware. VladaXStitch. And as usual, I will link below. Alrighty. Next. This one is from 2x2 StitchArt, and it's the Northern Lights piece. This was a piece that Connor had picked out. He originally was going to stitch it. He was going to learn to stitch, and he was going to stitch it for a friend. He said, oh, I'll stitch this over Christmas break. Well, he started it, and I think he's got a few lines. And we did, I don't know, it's down here somewhere. We brought it down to Delaware, so if he'd like to, oh, I know where it is. If he'd like to continue with it, he can. But at the same time, I said, oh, it's kind of pretty. I've never stitched any of theirs. I'm going to stitch it too. If he wants to take this one in the end, sure, he can take it. Because it's full coverage, it's just an 18 count white Aida. I figured why bother? Especially here, they have it, and I don't know how he would want to finish it, but they have it finished in the hoop. So, I mean, you wouldn't see anything of the actual fabric you're stitching it on. So that's where I am. I feel like I got a decent amount done. Doesn't always look like it, but I'm plugging away. I love all the different colors. Really looks so pretty, and I'm so excited. There's a big chunk of, one side is black and one side is, I don't know if it's 939 or if it's another one of the navies, but there'll be a lot of dark down here when I get to it. But it's a lot of fun, I have to say. And I ended up picking up some more from 2x2 Stitch that I'll stitch for myself. And I was gonna say, oh, maybe I'll stitch this again for me if he takes it, but I don't think I would. I don't know. I should never say never, right? Okay. What's next here? My restart. This one is a restart. So I'm going to show you my original. Oh, no, I'm not, because I didn't bring it up with me. I just brought the actual piece. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I have them in their bag. Sometimes I don't. You're going to remember this. When I did my project parade, I talked about this piece. This piece was started in 2019. It's called McChristmas from Cariad Cross Stitch Designs. Now, Cariad, she's on Facebook, and that's how she sells the items. She has almost 1,000 different pieces. I want to say you go to her Facebook page, group page, and I'll link the page below. And I assume you go to the albums. I don't remember exactly. You go to albums and then you go to pieces. And pretty much what you do, I don't have it linked here, is you send her a note saying, I'd like to buy X, whatever, XYZ. And she sends you an invoice and then you buy them. They're all digitals. They're listed in Euro. Is that what UK uses? I'm old school. I remember when in Ireland we had pence and pounds and all that. I'm going with that. But anyway, that's what, you know, the original cost is, and then obviously she would change it if it's US dollars. But isn't that guy cute? She has several gnomes. I gotta say, he's the cutest in my mind. He's the one I like the most. So I started him, I pulled that back in 2019. So remember, I started back stitching 2019, probably late summer. And it had been 30 years. My mind was blown by the whole idea of digital patterns at that point, right? And so I was getting stuff that I didn't really realize how involved we are. This is essentially, he's full coverage. Whoops. He is full coverage. And I wasn't ready for that. And I stitched it. And back then, I used to always start everything in the middle. So I was going to start him in the middle. I have since now, him I start top center, but otherwise I start most patterns top left. And you know, I was pretty much just eyeballing it. So I would look at the pattern and I would stitch whatever symbol and then I'd eyeball it. Well, there's about 4 or 5 different shades of red. Some of them are literally very, very close. And I had such issues and problems with it that I just didn't have a good feeling. And I got down to his nose. So I got a good halfway through stitching it on the ivory, but I got frustrated and I just got overwhelmed and I put it away, and I showed it in my 2020 project parade. I showed it in 2021. Neither of those years had he gotten a lick of work. So then I had to decide, was I gonna get rid of him, stitch from there, but I had emotions locked up in that one, frustration and overwhelm, so I wasn't feeling it, or restart it. I love the pattern, so I chose to restart it. And I changed the color because I would have fabric around him. So we'll see. I also learned that I'm better off highlighting. I accidentally got highlighter on the top. Luckily, this area right here is so never going to be seen or used. So I'm very, very lucky. It would have been my luck if it was like right here. But when you're holding it up, you say, what is that strange spot? That is stray highlighter. I learned very quickly that this is one of those patterns. I mean, it's digital, so you print it off anyway. Well, you know, you don't have to. You can do it online. But I print off my digitals. And a working copy was essential. Very often, I don't mark the patterns, and I don't make working copies from hard copies. But I really realized quickly that this, stitch it, highlight what I've stitched, so much easier. This is not a lot of stitching time. A couple days I did just a strand or two after the day I started it, and look at how far I've gotten already. I love it. I love redoing it. I've loved it, loved it. So I'm so happy I restarted it. I am keeping the other one. I mean, it's halfway done. We'll see. Maybe at some point I will ditch it and just use the other half of the fabric for something else. Or maybe once I've done it and I feel better about it, I'll be okay to go back to that other one. But that's what we have so far. This is 18 count, and I need to double check if it's not Lotus from Bestitchme. It's from Bestitchme, that I know, and I am 95% sure it's Lotus. If it's not, the correct fabric name will be down below in the description box. It's a very pale purple. It's similar to Icicle from Under the Sea Fabrics, if you have that. Slightly, I think, less purpley a little bit, but very, very similar. So that's kind of your frame of reference. But it is such a pretty light purple, and I think the reds and the colors are gonna pop so nicely on it, and I'm so thrilled. You know, I had stitched that green Christmas tree on Icicle, and I'm loving the light purples for Christmas, so you will see more of that. But I had thought originally, okay, maybe like a green and go green and red and all of that, but as soon as I saw this purple, I said, nope, this is what I want to do it. So that's where we are. And like I said, there's a lot of different colors there's 3 like bright different reds, and there's some garnets and maroons, different shades of everything. And doing it this way, so much easier and so much less frustration and overwhelm. So he's restarted. Love him. So that's McChristmas. Okay, now I have 3 more. Now I have the finish. Super, super excited. Lady Halloween from Jardin Prive. Yes, she is done. She was there. She was close. If you watched last week's video, you know she was close to a finish. Gail has finished hers, by the way. It is stunning, absolutely stunning. And she showed that too in her last video, so you could see that as well. Okay, I'm gonna go from a distance, and then I'll bring her closer to see. Look at her, look at her. So to see her as all, there she is. This is an 18 count Smoky Amethyst from Tudor Fabrics. I adore it. Now, I'm gonna do what Gail did. Gail came closer to show you all the different things. On the Cobwebs, they are all done in Light Effects B5200. And that will be, I'll put all this down below. I'm not gonna remember all these other colors. Her hair is 2 different shades of Etoile, listed, the numbers listed down below. The potion and the bubbles are the same shade of Etoile. The cat is 310 Etoile. I made him sparkly. And then the frog down there is also. Everything else, it's when you get the chart, she has two different ways you can do it. Completely monochromatic, and she shows you some changes if you do it monochromatic, she suggests. Or she's got 3 colors that she charts it in. Black, I used Anchor Black. I did not use 310. I used Anchor. A light gray and a dark gray. I kept the dark gray. I did change the light gray because the charted one was not looking great on this fabric. So that's it. There she is. I love the frog. He's so cute. And in person, you can see the sparkle. I love it. The light effects, not as much, but it was a learning curve. If you look closely, you can see it. So every week I pulled this one out. I cannot believe it's done. I loved stitching this. I loved all the elements, all the different pieces. It was a joy. I know many of you are either planning on stitching it or stitching it, and I hope you enjoyed as much as I did. I can't say enough about it. I absolutely adored it. So no more Lady Halloween. This is it. That's it. All right. Okay, 2 more. The next one, I pulled this out because I'm getting close. It's not finished yet, but really, I just need to sit down and do it. Pretty Little Amsterdam from Satsuma Street. I was watching Helen D put out an extra video of her finishes that are not fully finished, and this is one of them. She picks some great colors of fabrics. I'm sure you've seen that video, but if you haven't, go to Helen D's site. She has a new finishing one she did, but before that, it was the second most recent video. Here's mine. Now mine is done in an 18 count, and it's done on Nantucket Sky by Fabrics by Stephanie. This one is one of my most favorite outdoor fabrics, like pieces that I want to see as outdoors, because with the variation and the modeling, it looks like the sky. It looks like it's part of the outdoors. In the chart, there are clouds charted in this. I, in no way, shape, or form, decided I was going to stitch them, because the whole piece just looks like a sky with clouds, and I love it. So at this point, up here is pretty much all done. I have got just lots of little bits and pieces down here. I've got a bunch of tulips, different parts of finishing the boat and what would be considered water, and little bits of buildings. It's just a lot of color changes is what it is. So it's slower going because of that. I could spend an all day stitching on this, and I don't think even if I devoted a full day just stitching, I don't know if I'd get this one finished yet, because again, there's so many color changes. But I'm close. So I know I've said in April I'd like to make sure I pull this out at least once or twice and maybe work towards a finish. That would be really nice, because you know I'm going to keep starting things, so it'd be really nice to get it finished too. So hopefully in the next month or 2, that will be completely finished. I started that one, Megan, in her senior year of college. There was a program with one of her classes, and it was a leadership sort of thing, and it included a trip, and they went to Amsterdam. And so that is what made me think of that one. Okay, this last one is a giant piece. It's a full coverage. Yes, I started another full coverage. I have a whole bunch in the pipe. I want to start them all and then just have them as, I know some of you having a lot of projects not completed gives you stress. And you know, if that stresses you, I get it. I mean, stress can be tough. And if that is not fun for you, you know, finish your things. That's great. For me, I could have 100 projects started. And I wonder if it's my paper crafting world, because a lot of times what I would do, for example, with stamping, if I had to stamp out, I would stamp a certain piece of a card and part of it, because the stamp was out, rather than doing it just once, let's do it 5 or 6 times. And I would just leave that part. And then if I wanted or needed to send that card, I'd put it together. So I have in all my paper crafting unfinished stuff all over the place, and it doesn't bother me. It's just one part until it gets done. And I think that's why the stitching, I could have a gazillion open projects and it really wouldn't bother me, to be honest with you. And I think that's just part of it. So we may be starting all the things, all things full coverage. I am loving watching others. Who is it that's, I want to say her channel is Cross Stitch and Chill. She's a fairly new floss tuber. I'll link her down below. I think that's what her name is. Her floss tube name is. And she does all full coverage. And I am so loving watching her stuff. And then there's Vani. Vani does all full coverage as well. And I love seeing their pieces that I want to add some more full coverage. Am I giving up everything else? No, no. But I would like to throw some full coverage in. So this is the piece. I originally was going to do one of the minis, and I have two minis that were in line before starting this one. Well, wouldn't you know, and I cut the fabric and everything for it because it's just white Aida, and I went to go pull the flosses at the upper left, and in both cases, I didn't have the flosses I needed. I mean, I only have a million DMCs, it feels like, and yet I didn't have those. I wasn't planning on starting a big full coverage, but I really wanted to start one, and I did have the flosses for the top corner on this one. So I said, gosh, I'm just gonna do it. I'm going for it. And I had enough fabric because I had bought an extra one of those yards of white that I could go for it. So that's what I did. It's Little Red Riding Hood, Heaven and Earth. So it's, the artist is Anya Kai. I don't know if I've said that right. It's up there. It's charted by Heaven and Earth. And that's the piece. Now it comes as a mini, but the mini, the colors in the picture, and maybe it's just the picture, didn't look quite as dramatic. So I said, oh boy, I'm gonna go for it and I'm gonna get the big one. This is 400 by 551. So yes, this is big. The fabric is half my size, but that's what it looks like. I am in this upper left corner. And that's what I've got. Not bad though, because there are, you know, as you get further down, there'll be some confetti spots, but it is not heavy confetti up at this part. There's big chunks. So I could see parts of it going pretty quickly. I think it calls for 12 skeins of, they said 310. I'm using Anchor Black, but that's for a 25 count. I'm sure on this 18 count, it's gonna be way more than that. I have quite a few Anchor, but I think I'm gonna have to make this order because I don't think I have enough for this, but I am using Anchor Black. Otherwise I'm using all the colors that are called for. And that's my start. That's my little start. I'm loving stitching this. I love the picture. And okay, I wasn't expecting, look at this. Look how long this is. Wait a minute. Look at this. Look at this piece of fabric. I was not expecting that. I had a moment of complete terror last night because I had put all these stitches in, and then I don't know, last night I think I was just looking at it real quick. It was right before bed, and because I was thinking about today's floss tube, and I looked at it, and then I saw 400 by 551, and I was thinking in my head, oh my goodness, did I cut my fabric right? And I did out the numbers, and I couldn't remember. And I thought, oh, if I've put in all this, I mean, luckily, if this was it, as opposed to, you know, halfway through, but I got terrified then that it wasn't going to be long enough. It is, it's fine, but there was that moment of panic. So that's my full coverage piece. I now have 4 full coverage projects that I have started. That I need to find a way to throw them in and maybe do like a strand, or pick a project and do a strand a day for a couple weeks and then see what I get and then go from there. So you'll be seeing those interspersed with all my other stitching. I'm not going all full coverage because I love some of the other patterns, but I'm really enjoying that idea of making some big pictures come to life. All right, that is it. I know, super long already, and I haven't even gotten to anything else. Okay, plans. You know what I didn't do is I did not, let's see if I can really quickly find it. So my plan was, once I finished Lady Halloween, I was going to do Serena Sprout from Autumn Lane Stitchery. And some of you are joining me. I am so thrilled with that. Thank you so much. I love the colors. The colors are what brought it to me right there. That's what she looks like, what Serena looks like. Now I picked up the digital pattern, so I already own it. And I went and I got the Flosses this week. I was going to choose between 2 color fabrics, but I'm not 100% sure, and I have a third one coming now. Excuse me. So originally, when I saw that, I said, oh, now they use Friendship Green from Farbics by Stephanie, which I do have. I don't know if I have enough for this piece. I don't know what the stitch count. Let's see if I can see it real quick. 138 by 190. I'd have to see if I'd have enough of Friendship Green. It's a really pretty green. But I had gotten this. It was from Under the Sea Fabrics. It was a fabric of the month, Embroidery, I think it's called. I'm not 100% sure. So it's multitude of colors. And I love this part of the green, kind of like a mint with it. And I wasn't sure about some of the yellow splotches. I said, okay, maybe that'll work. But when I put the colors on it and I laid it out, I was a bit concerned that some of those splotches would detract, because I couldn't quite figure out how I would lay out the pattern with this. So it was my first choice. Now it's not the first choice. I don't know where it is yet. I haven't completely ruled it out, but I'm not 100% sure if it'll work. So then I picked up, well, actually it was a fabric of the month from Fortnite Fabrics. It's called Staying Alive. And it is a beautiful green, and it has, it's mostly a minty green, but then there are some different greens that would be slightly brighter mixed in. You're seeing it as white there, at least I am when I'm seeing it back on the camera. It's not like that in person. Let me see if I go a little bit tighter with it, if you can see the color better. This rapidly has become my first choice for this piece. I think these colors would look great on it, and I think it would work. A couple of the greens might blend in a titch, but not really that much. So this is now the #1 front runner, but I did notice, let's see if I can find it real quick, that To Die For Fabrics, Kimberly had put out a new green. It's called Honeydew Melon. That's what it looks like. And I had to place an order. So I ordered it yesterday, because then I thought, oh, maybe that would work really nicely. Now, of course, you never know this picture versus what 18 count will look like when I get it. So I just placed the order yesterday, and I think she's at a 2 to 3 week period of getting things sent out. So I should have it by mid-April. So that's I'm aiming for a mid-April start. For anybody else who's thinking about starting it, you can start it whenever you want, obviously. I'm super excited, though, that some of you are going to stitch it along with me. Excuse me, I'm talking too much now. But this gives you a chance to get your fabrics and your flosses if you're thinking about it. And they're really pretty flosses. You know, you've got the different greens, but then the pinks and the purples and some blues and oranges. I just got all DMC. I don't know. I don't remember what it's charted in exactly. I'd have to look at the chart. I don't have it with me at the moment. But love it. So love it. Can't wait to give it a try, and thrilled that you guys are joining me. You all are joining me. So, or some of you are. And yeah, I'd say mid-April. As soon as I get in that fabric from To Die For Fabrics, I will make my final decision. I suspect that it'll either be the Fortnite fabric or the To Die For. I will do one final floss toss, and I think I will save the Under the Sea fabric for another project. I think those different shades were just a tiny bit too much for what I wanted with the pattern. So those are my long-term plans. Excuse me. Otherwise, I'm just continuing along with what I'm doing. Okay, shopping. I have a little bit of shopping to show you. You know what? I'm not going to show you all the shopping because this is a long video. I have no plan on starting those. So I had picked up some charts. I will show you those next week. But I did pick up, I got a fabric of the month. I had picked up one fabric that was already dyed, kind of one of those things. And then I had been eyeballing these, and so I wanted to pick them up. Here, snaps, I'm gonna snap them. I was looking at Amy Clarissa. She's Allegro Stitches on Flosstube. I will link her down below. But Amy Clarissa has an Etsy shop. She's a very, very talented seamstress. And she makes, I want to say project bags. She makes ort books. She makes, I don't know what she calls them, something that you can put your different supplies in and so on and so forth. But I had been eyeballing the ort books, to be honest with you. And I really need some, because a lot of times if I'm traveling in the car, it's like, what do I do with the extra? Or I stitch in one spot or I stitch in another, and then these things get all over the house. So I said, I really need a couple of them. One's gonna go in the bag that I travel with, and then the other one will be probably, I don't know where it's gonna go. I may be taking it up and down, who knows? But I picked up a couple different designs. Look at that. I picked up the lemons, super cute, love the brightness. And then of course I needed something, look at the lighthouse. I needed something nautical for being down here in Delaware. So that's the size of it. It's like, I don't have a ruler right here. That's probably 3.5 by 7 maybe. I don't even know. I don't remember what it is, but they're cute, easy for traveling, wonderful, and superbly made. I absolutely love it. Allegro Stitches, that might be her Etsy shop as well. I will link her down below so that you get a chance to see everything that she makes. She does some beautiful, beautiful work. And stay tuned for the giveaway, because you might be seeing one of these again. Okay, so that is one thing I bought. I got the Color and Cotton March Fabric of the Month. I would say look away, but it's so funny because everybody I see that gets Color and Cotton is a different color. If you want to look away, just in case, this is an 18 count Aida. Maybe they do it by different counts, although I'm not 100% sure. This is called Ophelia, so it's not going to give it away. Look away if you don't want to see. Pretty. It's a pretty, pretty color. Really versatile. I suspect from them I get mostly neutrals. I don't know. I mean, they're more of a neutral-based company anyway. You don't see a lot of like really bright colors from them. I don't feel like anymore. Excuse me, when I see people showing. So there was that. And then I am part of the Facebook group Coffee Craft Fabrics. She is UK based, so all my UK friends, I will link her Flosstube below. Not Flosstube, her Facebook below. She's a group. I mean, she sends everywhere, obviously, because she shipped it to me. And she had some that were already dyed. This was considered a second, so it's kind of a funny size. And she was selling them. She does have a Fabric of the Month club, and she is now dyeing flosses as well. So if you're interested, definitely check it out. This one doesn't have a name. It's an 18 count Aida. And it's super pretty. It's a type of green. It actually, I could put it in the running for Serena Sprout. If I might throw the flosses on that one too. Oh, that's funny. Coffee Craft Fabrics. Yeah, it's a 16 by 27, so obviously kind of a funny size, but I thought that was a pretty color. I'm gonna give it a try, and it's really nice Aida. Really, really nice. So I'll link her down below for Facebook if you're interested in checking out her page and what she does, so on and so forth. Okay, so that's all the shopping I'm going to show you, because we already have a long video here, and we're going to move on right to the giveaways. Okay, so we almost knocked over all the names in the bowl, in the blue bowl. This week I am giving away the Trucking Along April, with all the little carrots and the bunnies and the truck and the whole bit. I asked you to say carrot if you were interested. And let me mix this up. Alrighty. Thank you for being patient. Obviously last week I didn't do a giveaway because I wasn't expecting to be where I was and I didn't have anything. So it was a little extra week, but that's all right. Okay, so the winner is, who won it? Christy T. Congratulations, Christy. I am going to, I don't know if the white will show up on the white, but I am going to put your name right in with the pattern so that I don't forget. So in goes the pattern, in goes your name, and once you reach out, I'll send it out to you. Please send me your address and I will ship that out to you. Okay, so that's this week's giveaway. That was last week's giveaway, or last video's giveaway. This week, when I was buying those Ort books from Allegro Stitches, Amy Clarissa, I bought a third one. And I gotta tell you, this is a really pretty one. I was like, oh, do I want to give it away? But I am. I can always buy another one if I want. So again, same thing on the inside. You've got the fuzzy stuff. It snaps right up so that you can keep everything contained. Super, super pretty. So I'm just going to ask you to say the word plant, P-L-A-N-T, because I have no idea. These are probably some ferns. I don't know what else they are. So I'm going to say the word plant just to be on the safe side. If you'd like your name to go in the blue bowl to win this wonderful little book for all of your scraps, then please just say the word plant and I will put your name in. And next video, I will pick a winner. So that's that. Beautiful, beautiful work. And like I said, go check out her shop. Okay, that's it. That's all the stitching stuff. Life will make life stuff quick because we're already at almost an hour. Friday was the closing. Friday morning, Mo went over there. We had more still stuck in the house than we realized, so he had to bring all that. And then he made, right before the walkthrough, he was canceling the Wi-Fi, and the company said, well, we need the router. You have to send it back to us. And he hadn't realized that, so he had to make a rush trip. Luckily, it's, you know, maybe 10 minutes across town. He ran over there, grabbed it just as the people were ready for their walkthrough, and grabbed it and left. So he met them. He said they're very nice. Walkthrough went fine. Closing went fine. House is no longer ours. We are thrilled, 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 and we hope they and their family will have many happy years there. Right until the actual happening of the closing, until we got the text from our real estate agent saying it was done, paper signed, everything over. I just in the back of my mind was like, oh, something could go wrong, until it was all a done deal. So I felt so much better once everything was done. Shamrock chilled on Friday all day after his surgery. They said we could travel on Saturday. So we went down to Pennsylvania. Megan had a game. We had not been to any of her games in person. So we went, watched her play. It was a beautiful, sunny, gorgeous day. Really, really nice. Shamrock did okay. He did all right. He's in a cone and he will be for 2 weeks. It is the way it is. He's resigned to it, I think. So we did that. Then we came down to Delaware. I was exhausted that night from just letting go of all most of the stress and all the travel and the sun and everything else. But so Shamrock's been pretty low key. He's 1 week past post-surgery. Next Thursday, in the morning, he goes to an ophthalmologist to follow up on the surgery and see where things are, if we have to keep doing certain medicines, if he has to wear the cone, all that stuff. And then in the afternoon, he meets a new vet down here so that they will follow his progress for everything else and be his everyday vet. So he's got a busy day next Thursday. So do we. But so far, so good. I mean, he gets a lot of meds. I don't know if that's he's quiet. He's still recovering. He can't really tell us anything. I'm sure he's grumpy that he has to wear this thing, except when he eats, he has to wear they call it the Elizabethan collar, as opposed to a cone. I'm sure he's grumpy that he has to wear it. It's flexible, but it's still not 100% comfortable. So he's doing all right. I am slowly relaxing and letting it go. We had a lot of stress go. And what I had mentioned to a couple people in the comments and so on and so forth, I think I haven't realized that I can let it all go. So I still have a little bit, but each day I'm realizing that I can let it go. So that's what I'm doing. And each day a little bit more relaxed. And, I'm excited to to jump into this project here. And next week after Shamrock goes to the doctors, hopefully that will be, it's a lot of work with him for feeding, and he can't quite eat everything. So then we have to kind of almost spoon feed him and all the meds. So there's still a lot going on, but it's getting better each and every day. So that's pretty much the life stuff. The weather here it's very rainy and kind of dreary, but you know, I guess it's, you know, spring showers, right? I don't know. I don't know what to expect for spring down here. I know in Connecticut they're having, I think, colder than normal temperatures in some cases, and I think that's kind of down here as well. So I think normally it would be a little bit warmer some of the days, but it was beautiful on Saturday. Absolutely gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. So it gave me that taste of spring. I cannot wait till we have full spring and so on and so forth. So that's where we're at. That's what's going on here. I'm just going to take it day by day, get more things kind of organized either in the house, although that's pretty good. This craft room is my big project. Get stitching in, stitching done, and all that good stuff. And yeah, just kind of take care of my puppy. He'll always be my puppy, even though he's 11 and a half. And yeah, just explore our new area now that we are here. Have to do all that great stuff like change your license and your registration, all that things. We have to do all that, but also then we get a chance to explore our new home, our new home state, right? So anyway, that's about it. I hope you're well. I hope you're safe. I hope things are going good for you, whether it's spring, entering the spring, or whether you're entering the fall on the other side of the world, or however it is. I hope things are going great that way. And we're just in this all together, and we're stitching together and just each other's support. And I'm so grateful for all of it. But until next time, happy stitching.